Welcome to this video. My name is Karuna, and in this video I will help you to learn some meditation practices, also followed by discussions with the group. We've been reading this book from Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahm is a British monk. When he was 20 or something, he went to Thailand and became a Buddhist monk. He was trained with one of the very famous Thai meditation teacher called Ajahn Chah. He was a really good meditator, a really good teacher. And he's no longer there, but Ajahn Brahm, he lives in Australia now. He's been touring a lot, even in the UK. And he's very funny, he's very humorous, and he knows the culture here because he grew up here. And we love him, he's very funny. So today we're going to read about predicting the future. And we sort of like go around if you want to read. It's optional, you don't have to read. If you don't want to, you can just listen and just pass around. Here. And you've been going to the Tuesday meditation, you say? Okay. How much meditation have you done?
We went in the Tuesday session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually we start with some mindfulness movements, and then it's like around half an hour you sit and do the breathing techniques and count your breath.
Okay, good.
Like it's pure meditation time of maybe half an hour, 25 minutes.
Sure, yeah, good. Great, welcome. Yeah. So we'll start with the story called Predicting the Future. Sit back, relax. There are more cushions if you need. If you feel cold, you can get the blankets as well. You will hear the sound, so just use that as an object of meditation. We might close the window a bit, so later when we do the meditation. How is the temperature? Okay? Yeah. The heater is not on yet, but welcome. Okay, so predicting the future. Many people would like to know the future. We all like to know the future, right? Especially in London, we always live in the future ahead. Some people are too impatient to wait for it to happen, as they seek out the services of oracles and fortune tellers. I have a warning for you, Ajahn Brahm says, I have a warning for you on oracles. Never trust a poor fortune teller. So never trust a fortune teller. Meditating monks are regarded as excellent fortune tellers, but they usually don't cooperate easily. One day, a long-serving lay disciple of Ajahn Chah, so the monk that I was talking in Thailand, asked the great master to predict his future. Ajahn Chah refused. Good monks don't tell fortunes, he said. But the disciple was determined. He reminded Ajahn Chah of how many times he had offered him alms food, how many donations he had given to the monastery, and how he had chauffeured Ajahn Chah in his own car at his own expense to neglect his own work and family. Yeah, so he's trying to prove him that he's done so much for him and expecting something in return. Ajahn Chah saw that the man was determined to get his fortune told. So he said that for once he would make an exception to the no fortune telling rule. Give me your hand. Let me see your palm. Yeah. So let's read around from here. Second paragraph. A bit loud.
The discipline was drilled. Ajahn Chah has never read poems for any other discipline. This was special. Moreover, Ajahn Chah has regarded as a saint with great psychic power. Whatever Ajahn Chah said would happen surely would happen. Ajahn Chah traced the lines on the discipline's palm with his own index finger. Every so often he would say to himself, "Oh, that's interesting," or well, or amazing. The poor disciple was in a frenzy of anticipation. When Ajahn Chah
When Ajahn Chah was finished, he let go of the disciple's hand and said to him, "Disciple, this is how your future will turn out." "Yes, yes," said the disciple quickly. "And I'm never wrong," added Ajahn Chah. I know. Well, what's my future going to be?" the disciple uttered in ultimate excitement. "Your future will be uncertain," said Ajahn Chah, and he wasn't wrong. The next story?
Maybe we stop there and then let's have a discussion on what you took on that story, little story. So, what do you think? The last bit, what did he say? The last bit, that the future is uncertain or something like that, right?
Yeah. Who's Ajahn Chah?
Ajahn Chah is a Thai Buddhist monk, like a very good meditator, but he died a while ago. But he was very famous. If you go to Thailand and say Ajahn Chah, everybody knows him. Yeah.
It's meant to be in a joking way. At the end he says, first he's emphasizing he's never wrong, and then he's stating the future is uncertain, so I'm 100% sure that it's uncertain, and kind of makes fun of the notion that people try to predict the future or try to foresee the future. So
Yeah. And it was so simple, wasn't it? And yet the person maybe was not expecting that, because the person was expecting maybe like, oh no, you will be okay, or you will get a good promotion, or like that's how we get trapped into this fortune telling, and especially happens in Asian culture a lot. We like to know the future. But often in Buddhism it's not encouraged. It's encouraged more to see the reality, and the reality is that it will change, or that's how it is.
It's quite difficult in this society because you're always taught and imagined to, look for the next position in your work life, or I'm sure at Imperial it's right. What are your goals for the future?
Yeah.
It's like where do you want to be? Where are you going to be? What's going to happen and make it happen? Those sorts of things. So trying to live in the present moment rather than always thinking of the next step in the future. Can be tricky, can't it?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, because I think even in our material culture right now, that we are always seeking the next thing, like what will happen next, and the certainty or the whatever it is that we want. It's no different from the cultural fortune, because we are so driven by materialism that it can get in the way of really seeing the reality as it is, which Ajahn Chah was trying to point out.
When I was in India, I talked to a Vedic priest or something, and so he told me my fortune.
What did he say?
It was
You're gonna get married to and have your life will be forever well.
Well, in fact, it was pretty accurate. It made sense at the time. It was like 1 year ago, and it was pretty surprising because he was quoting things that I didn't say, which was really precise, like of what I was studying, etc. And so I was like, is he right? Because he told me different events that would happen, and for 1 year I'm like, will it happen? Like always thinking about that. Is it true? Is it true? And so, what do you think about that?
There is some truth in it. There is some truth in it because of the star sign and your birth chart, astrology and astronomy. Astrology, yeah, there is some truth in it. They can predict certain kind of behavior, or but it's never the same. It's never the same. Plus, when you believe in that, you're giving your life away, because when your fortune is being told, then you think that, oh, that's going to happen, or I'm going through a bad stage in my life, and this is destined to happen, or so you're giving away your power to someone else, and you are being controlled by that.
Because then you're waiting for it to
happen or not happen.
You're expecting it.
Yes, yeah. The thing is that we can manage the future, or we can decide the future in the moment. So that's the most important thing. So a lot of people fear the future, and then that's why people depend on this sort of thing, especially culturally in Asia. I've seen a lot, even with my family. My mom is always like trying to look at the stars, and I was like, no, I don't want that. It's.
I think it's because with the hindsight, I think Europe was like that. It's a time of development because Europe was very superstitious. I think all cultures with modernization they move on because actually Europe was like that. I think 100 years ago. So it's a development rather than anything else. I think it's part of the culture.
Yeah, part of the culture.
There is some truth in it. To answer you back, there is some truth in it because of the star sign, and I don't know how they do it, and I didn't study astronomy. But the important thing is, even though it has some truth in it, but you shouldn't give it away completely, or you shouldn't rule by that assumption. So that's really important. Even the Buddha was very strict on that one. In fact, when you meditate, when you develop your mind, you can have empathy and skills that you can sense the future in some way, or you can see someone about to happen or something about to happen. So in meditation, they develop. That's why Ajahn Chah, they thought that he had these kind of sort of powers or these qualities of reading people's mind and the future. But the Buddha said that it's going to be a crime if you do that. So in the precepts, actually, it said that don't do that. It's not because what happens is that when you display something, then people first is that you're misleading. Second is that you're gaining fame from that, which is not right. Which you shouldn't live a life from that. So he told the disciples. So Ajahn Chah was also doing that. And plus, it changes. Everything changes, no matter how much. A fortune teller can say, okay, in 2 years' time, this is going to happen, but it's never going to happen exactly the same way as it is. There is this the TV Dynamo, right? There was a magician as well. Have you seen that BBC program or ITV? No. There was a Dynamo who. He says he's like really in a bad space at the moment, like he's heavily depressed or something like that, or drug addicted because he just couldn't cope with his life, the fame, and because he was showing some kind of display of magic and things like that.
I'm also quite interested in the relation with time that meditation has.
Okay.
In the sense that you can maybe foresee things. Perhaps of an awareness, but perhaps also because while you're meditating, sometimes it's like when you're dreaming and you can kind of jump into several times.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, so there are different senses. We all have different senses. There are 6 senses we have. So the eye, your ears, your taste, your bodily sensations, and then you have the mind as a faculty as well. So normally we just use the brain. Because in modern materialism, we always use the brain to rationalize something. We don't use other faculties at all. We're not even aware of what's going on inside. We don't hear things properly. We hear what we want to hear. Yeah, we see what we want to see, not what actually the reality is. So when you're becoming mindful and meditating, when you're letting go of the analytical mind for a while, the thinking mind, the monkey mind, then you begin to notice something very different. Yeah. So you might. That's why in meditation you might feel very strange, awkward sometimes. It's because we are not aware of the other faculties therein. It's nothing mysterious about it. It's not like magic or something. It's just that there are other domains of experience. It's not just 1D or 2D or 3D. There's multiple Ds, right, dimensions to it. So in meditation, yeah, that can happen as well. But the important is just come back to the reality, which is just here and now. Just what I'm hearing, what am I sensing. In fact, actually, in Tibetan tradition, I noticed that in meditation, you often meditate with your eyes open and with your senses open. Less of the mind activity. A lot of meditation is so much emphasized on thinking, getting it right, getting the breathing right, getting, shutting everything down. Actually, that can have a negative impact in some ways, of that you get lost often in thoughts, get lost in your experience. You might feel that nice experience, that bliss is so good, that you don't want to, as soon as you meditate, you want to get that feeling, and when it doesn't happen, you get upset or angry. So that can be obstructive. But the real meditation is when you are aware of the present sensations, like what's happening right now, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what's going on right now, and taking it as impermanent, taking it as changing, ever changing. So you're not holding on to it, not grasping onto it, but you're just experiencing it. Just like the clouds in the sky, yeah? What's the nature of the clouds? Always changing, yeah, ever changing. So the thoughts, our impressions, our sensory experiences are like that, constantly changing. But our tendency is to hold on to it, or thinking that gloomy weather is going to be there all my life, and it's not going to change. And when we have an experience, we feel like, oh, it's not going to change. Why am I feeling this way? Go away. Or I want to hold on to it. Yeah. But the reality is that there is always the sky, right? It's always the clear sky. And that's our experience. So you just experience that experience. It's not easy to do that.
To answer your question, the question was the relation of Buddhism with time, right? Or meditation. I think, as you told me, in Buddhism, there are different traditions. Like some think time is real, some think time doesn't exist, all this kind of stuff. But in any case, you can never be sure. You can always only be sure of the time you're in now, and trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future time only leads to anxiety. It's going to be the same thing as the fortune teller. It's just you're going to do it yourself and you're going to be anxious. Anyway, whatever you think going to happen is not going to happen. So.
Yeah. So I was wondering, not in kind of an anxious way of how to control time or see things, just kind of a sensation, like what's your relation with time when you're dreaming, when you're awake, when in kind of different levels of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really amazing how that changes, actually.
Yeah. Are you aware of the different brain waves? Yeah. So you have the alpha, beta, and then theta is the most deepest level. And often in meditation, the theta is on a lot. So it's not a sleepy state. You're not completely sleepy, but at the same time, you're not awake either. Yeah, so you're aware, but at the same time, it's very relaxed as well. You're in a very different state than awake, like right now you can hear it. That's the alpha state, that we're all in an alpha state. When you go to a beta state, which is more, maybe a little bit quieter, and then you go to a really theta state where it's very much like sleep, but at the same time, you're not. So we can go into different levels of experience in the brain. Yeah.
So referring to that is quite interesting, because when you mentioned different level of consciousness, some highly learned monks, after they pass away, the body is not in a circle, but the mind is still awake. So they sit in the meditation for weeks and months, because their mind is still, hasn't passed, so they can physically there, but they still up.
Even the research, I think, shows that actually the body doesn't completely shut down as soon as you die. Sorry, I put it that way, like as soon as you die. So as soon as I die or someone dies, that actually it takes time for the complete transition of the body. So there may be still some kind of like temperature, or some sort of the organs are still trying to dissociate or dissolve.
But the heart is shut down, so...
Yeah, the heart is shut down.
There's no blood to fuel.
But the Buddhists, we believe our spirit, we believe Buddha, like generally speaking, our bodies are clothed, our spirit goes on. So, that is your mind, that is, that's what we believe, sort of reincarnation, sort of cycle of existence. So that's why body is there, so the mind, the spirit is there.
Even physically, like the tissues in the body, or the tissue, even though the heart is not working or the brain is not working, there is still the remaining of the mechanism, the mechanics of the body. There is still something that takes time to leave everything to settle. Yeah, that's why in Buddhist tradition, often when somebody dies, you don't disturb the death. You leave it there for a while. You leave it there a while because it takes time to transition. Say for example, someone got hit by an accident suddenly, and you try to leave that for a while, because and often there is like chanting goes on, meditation goes on when someone is passing away, is because the last bit is important. Like the body needs to be quiet and calm, because otherwise the next birth becomes difficult. We'll get some stuck. Yeah. But of course, as scientists, we don't believe in the afterlife, so that's another topic. Yeah, that's a battle, and that's okay. That's fine. Buddhism says it's more important to know what's before the death. Yeah, what's happening now, and that's okay. That's fine. But some of you were curious into like what happens when I die or someone dies, so that's important as well. So anyway, any more? Just quickly about that everything is changing. Yeah. So if next time someone says about the fortune telling, and it says everything will change, everything will change. So okay, so let's use that as a theme for today's meditation. Sit comfortably, please. If you need extra cushions, you can take extra cushion. If you feel like changing your posture in a different, you can even stretch your legs if you feel like. Sit with your back straight, shoulder drop, and gently close your eyes or open. It's up to you how you feel. If you feel sleepy somewhere, you can always open your eyes. And gently guide your attention to your breath, to the in-breath and to the out-breath. Notice when it's shorter or longer. So first, be aware of the tip of the nostril and all the way to your chest and your heart, and all the way to the abdomen. And from the abdomen to the heart, and from the tip of the nostril, noticing the sensations. So practice these 3 points breathing exercise. So be aware around the nostril. Notice the breath entering, leaving, entering, cool sensation or warmth, if it's long or short. You may even feel a bit of a tingly sensations. All the way to your chest, notice the rising of the chest, falling. Notice the pumping of your heart. And finally the abdomen rising and falling. And from the abdomen to your chest and the tip of the nostril. And repeat this exercise. The moment you notice the mind may be dwelling in an event or a story, or it's not even aware what's doing, and gently return to your breath. There's 3 points breath. And if your mind has an impression, you just leave it aside, put it aside, and come back to the breath. Keep your back straight, shoulder drop. If you feel sleepy, open your eyes. I would also like you to reflect on impermanence or change. Notice how moment to moment your body is changing, your back is hurting, or the knees maybe aching, or the sensation on the chest may be changing, or just the experience of sensations, temperature. Keep changing moment to moment. While just directing your attention on these 3 breaths, 3 stages of the breath, to the tip of the nostril, to the heart center, to the abdomen. And no need to react to these impressions, ever-changing impressions, like the clouds, different shapes, different size. Know that there is always the open space. Let the cloud of thoughts to pass on its own. And don't fight with the thoughts, don't fight with yourself. Just come back, return to the breath. So physically, the body is changing constantly. Your aches and pain are So don't hold on if it's hurting. You just stretch a little bit and come back again, return. Don't let that disturb your meditation. You just use it as an experience. It's very natural. Emotionally as well, if you feel a bit stressed out or worrying about some stuff that happened or might happen, also just take it as a change as well. That will change. So there's hope. Be hopey, as Ajahn Brahm says. Don't be grumpy, be hopey. Or don't worry, be hopey. It will change. The way I feel will change. I'm experiencing change right now. So come back to the in-breath and out-breath. Another example of the thoughts is like the traffic on the road on M40 or somewhere, A40, busy, and you're looking at on top of a bridge. You're looking from a highway or somewhere, and all these different shapes and different cars passing, different thoughts going. And what we feel like doing is we want to go on a trip. We want to get into one of these cars or transport, and we get lost. So notice the urge to do that. Come back again to just watching and observing for now. Come back to the 3 points, to the tip of the nostril, feeling the sensations, discovering the subtle movement of air, to the chest, to the heart, and to the abdomen. And you sustain that attention. So there is a word meditation term called sustaining attention. So you have to sustain that attention. That means you have to stay with that attention. So that's mindfulness, in fact. You have to sustain, you have to befriend that attention. You have to relax with it. And before we know, there is something else happens. There's another cloud of thoughts or traffic of thoughts comes. And that's fine, absolutely okay. It's not a mistake. We simply return again. Come back to the natural awareness of the breath. So return to the tip of the nostril again, the center of your heart, and the abdomen. sustaining your attention. You have to sustain it. Sustaining that, paying attention moment by moment on these 3 stages, 3 points to the sensation on the nostril. Being curious a little bit what happens when you breathe a little bit longer, and what happens around the heart and the stomach, abdomen. And you treat everything else as like the traffic, and you're just observing from the bridge. Not allowing yourself to go on a trip or getting in each and every car passing. Just come back again. And also noticing the sound, and let the sound be, come back again to the breath. And the other analogy is, it's like you're training a horse. So your mind is like the horse, the wild horse, untrained horse. So you get on the untrained horse, what happens? It will throw you away. So the practice is you get on it again, you try to befriend it, don't frighten it. And try to listen to the wild horse, the thought, and you get on it. Stay on top. And after a while, it will throw you away. It will challenge you. But you have to just hold on to it. So that's the sustaining attention, is sustaining moment by moment by moment. If it is a pain in the back, or is this you need to be somewhere else, or feeling a bit sleepy, so whatever that is, let them go, let them be. Come back to this 3 point. So we'll do 5 more minutes of silent. And we'll bring this to an. In the meantime, if you feel like stretching, or if you feel like lying down for a while, you can lie down. I'm going to be silent, quiet for now, for 5 more minutes, and then we'll bring this to a closure. one more minute. Just slowly preparing to bring to a closure, but checking your intention for the rest of the day. Maybe just checking in how you would like to sort of take away from this meditation. Maybe just checking in how to be more present and more kind, maybe, into your day-to-day life, not being hard on yourself. Just checking in the rest of the day, to really knowing that these kind of resources are always available to us, no matter where we are. We can always reach out to our inner resources within. Okay, now slowly begin to stretch your legs, stretch your arms, open your eyes, and finishing the meditation while coming back. Okay, so if you need to leave, you can take a leave now, but we'll spend maybe 5 minutes or so just sharing your experience. So if you have any questions about the meditation.
Questions come not necessarily related to today's theme, but in general I noticed that when I'm meditating, especially when I'm stressed, I notice that I struggle to breathe in, and I feel like my capacity is far smaller, and that's like a typical symptom how I can detect that I'm internally stressed. And after some time of meditation, it usually eases, and then I find myself that my breath capacity increased, and then I feel less stressed. What's your view on this? And do you think it works like this? And what do you think I'm experiencing?
Yeah, it works like that, and also it shows that the mind and the body is connected. The mind and the body is connected, because often there is a disconnect of the mind and the body. Yeah, when you are thinking so much, or when you are occupied in the past or future, or something that happens, which is often is the case, obviously, with our work, with our studies. So often we are engaging so much that we run out of the breath, or the organs are not getting the oxygen they need. There is less supply of blood in the brain, and that creates more stress or anxiety.
So it's like reconnection.
So again, connecting again from the disconnect. Yeah. So that means that you have more blood in your brain. There is the heart is beating fine, normal. There's no high or low, just in the normal state. Yeah. So the way I see it is just balancing your the body and with the mind. And mind here means your awareness, obviously. Yeah.
How long did it last?
The meditation? It was about, I think, 15 minutes, I think. Did you feel shorter, longer?
No, I don't know. I just wanted to have a reference.
Okay. Yeah, 15 minutes.
It felt more than an hour to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Relativity of time, isn't it? It's so interesting. You felt short?
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Should we be doing this like every day?
Yeah. Yeah, like going to the gym, We can't go to the gym one day and then hoping to have a strong body. You have to keep going again and again. That means you have to take out 10 minutes every day to really develop like mindful skills, how to be more present with yourself. It's like a training any muscles. The training of the attention is also the same. So we recommend that you practice at least 10 minutes every day. And sometimes it's not just finding time, because often the complaint is that, oh, I haven't got time, I'm too busy, I've got so many deadlines, I've got this and that. But it's about making time. You have to make time. You have to find that 10 minutes every day.
There's this very famous saying of one Buddhist monk, I forgot the name, that he said he meditates half an hour every day, and only when he's really busy he meditates an hour.
I think the difficulty is having the right environment, because our life is so fast-paced. You're being pulled everywhere on mobile, everything, So it's because if you're Asian, it's environment. I find it very difficult, but for me, just if I'm stressed, I just go for a walk and just mentally just relax. That's the only way I could do. So I find, because you can't just go to the senior common room and meditate. So you need to have the right sort of right group in here.
Sure. So in the beginning, it's good to attend a regular class in here or somewhere. So it gives you a bit of more discipline, and you know the techniques, what to do. But over time, as you become more familiar with the technique, then informally, that means you may be in a senior common room having a nice cup of tea or coffee or your meal, also using that as a way to connect to yourself, connect to your body, and just checking in. Maybe you're waiting for your coffee or your meal, and just noticing your feet, maybe the temperature, or look around, see what's happening. Sometimes you see people just rushing, and you just be mindful that, okay, I'm here now. And your experience changes from there. You may be commuting from work to home, from college, and just use that time as a way to be more, to be with yourself rather than thinking about completely.
To ask you that, because in the mindful course they say in a way that meditation can take different kind of forms, like while you're walking and while you're brushing your teeth or what. And maybe it's Buddhist meditation also flexible in the form of how we meditate?
That is actually stolen from Buddhist meditation. So that is Buddhist meditation, yeah. It's rebranded as mindfulness, secular. But anyway, the important with the Buddhist meditation is the kindfulness. So not just mindfulness, not just paying attention, but the empathy. It's like you need to check whether you're being, is this the right thing to do, or is this the right now that I need to do it? Because sometimes you feel like procrastinating, right? It's like sometimes you feel like, oh, why should I meditate? I'm okay now, or I haven't got the time to meditate, and then there is lack of compassion in there, lack of kindness in there. So that's where the real mindfulness comes in. That's where you need to say, actually, if I don't meditate, you know what? I feel bad towards the end, or I feel more negative about things in life in general. So you begin to develop it. And sometimes you may feel that you're right, but sometimes you have to be more compassionate. One of my teachers said it's more important to be kind than to be right. So it's more important to be kind than to prove that somebody is wrong, or prove ourselves wrong or right. So it's more important to check in, okay, is this the right time to say, or is it the right time to take that 10 minutes? So bringing and developing that quality more and more is sort of like the authentic way of developing kindness. There is a saying that you can have a mindful sniper, but you can never have a kindful sniper. So you can be very mindful at shooting, but a genuine mindful person will not practice that. Will consider before doing that. So, but mindfulness is a universal practice. It's not that only certain things. We all can develop it. We all have the capacity to have compassion and kindness and mindfulness, and it's something we all share and we all can cultivate. The problem with the modern mindfulness is that it's being used in such a dry way that's the danger of it. It's like yoga. If it is just a physical exercise, but it's more than that, right? It's more about connecting the mind with the body, and also it's about the lifestyle that we live in. So it's much more than that. So that's where we need to be a little bit more aware of with the mindfulness as well.